Hi everybody, welcome back. So right now we are on lesson 3. We're going to present the CMA. If you are unfamiliar with that is, you need to go back and review some of these other videos. But we're on section 5, unit 4, Comparative Market Analysis. We just finished lesson 2 and we're now on lesson 3. For those who are following along. All right, here we go. Let's talk about Danny. We have a little scenario here, so let's play it out. Claude Shoemaker met Danny at the door. Well, hello there. You're right on time, and Wilma is not. Oh, here she is. Claude said as Wilma motored into the driveway. She parked next to Claude's blue Vesca and hopped off her scooter, and none of that stuff is relevant here. Sorry to keep you boys waiting, Wilma, as she trotted up the walkway. We are getting ready to present a CMA to potential buyers or sellers. None of that stuff you need to remember here, okay? All right, Danny continued by telling the shoemakers about the types of property he looked at when he prepared this CMA for them. All right, let's look at this little resource over here. By the way, if you need any resources, be sure to contact me on my website and let me know specifically which resource you need. Want me to email you, and I will email it to you. Just don't tell me you need a resource. You need to be specific, because there's like hundreds of them in this whole lesson thing here. All right, I don't know if I'm going to read all of this. If we need to read it all, we will. Let's try and see if we can not read all of this. This is like a little story here thing, and this is not going to be on your test, so I really don't want to read this story and confuse everybody. All right, after 5 months on the market, the owners of a cozy ranch around the corner accepted an offer and closed on the property last week. All right, so these are about the types of property he looked at when he prepared the CMA. Okay, so did he look at recently sold, expired, or competing? Well, I don't know what kind of property they have. Maybe it tells us in this story. I'm looking to see if it's in here. And what kind of property do they have? Okay. He said he did 4 comparables, 25 days. The longest one was on the market. Okay, so now this will help you in. Okay, so they're just talking about their property over here and what they have done. It says they completely remodeled their kitchen and bathroom. And the kitchen and bathrooms, their kitchen and bathrooms. Oh, on the other people did not update their kitchen and bathrooms. I think I was talking about that recently. If your neighbors are updating and you're not. So you'll be able to get a little more money than them if you got an updated bathroom and bedroom. Okay, now he's talking about the number of days that this was on the MLS. They sold an average of 25 days. The longest one was on the market was 25 days. Limited curb appeal was on the market for 76 days, but most of them sold in 3, 8, or 11 days, very fast. So they're keeping up with their properties. The ones that are not taking care of their property is taking longer, of course. Okay, let's look at all of these here. Talk about coincidences. The North and South both moved into this neighborhood within weeks of each other. They have the same floor plan. Both listed their homes for sale this week. I would say this is competing. The end date of the listing contract period passed with no offers on the table, expired. And this would be recently sold. After 5 months on the market, they accepted an offer and closed on the property. Okay, so let's check our answers here. Okay, these were all correct, and we didn't have to read that ridiculous story. We'll just pick out what we need to pick out. All right, so after 5 months on the market, he's looking at things that have been on the market for 5 months. Right here, this date of the listing contract ended with no offers on the table. It expired. This is a contract that expired. And you will have to put a date on when you're going to sell. When you do your real estate contract up with your buyers or your sellers, preferably your sellers, you're going to put on there that we're going to sell your home in 90 days. You're going to put a date on there. So if the house does not sell in that particular period of time, the end date of the listing contract, it will expire. They can go get a new agent, or they can continue to use you and relist it, or they might not list it at all. So there might be reasons why it didn't sell. Maybe they need to fix it up more. Maybe you overpriced it. Whatever. We don't know. Okay, this is talking about people in the neighborhood that have the same thing in their house and they both listed them. And when this happens, it is competing houses. All these things will happen, by the way. All right. Danny outlines the steps he took in preparing the CMA, and he placed the steps Danny took in proper order. Okay. So we want to make price adjustments based on comparisons. Select 3 to 6 similar properties in the area. All right. I would do this first, and then I would go tour the home, and then I would make price adjustments. Now let's see if I'm right. I don't know. No, I got 2 of them wrong. Okay, so they're saying that you want to tour the home first. Okay, which makes, that's fine. And then you want to pick out 3 to 6 similar properties. And that recently sold. Now, recently could be 3 months. Recently could be 5 months. Now, if you got like 20 homes in 5 months, then you need to take it down to a different, maybe 3 months. Because you only want 3 to 6 similar properties. Otherwise, it gets out of hand. And you're going to have too many houses. So you'll figure this out as you go along. If you need a screenshot, there you go. These are some of the questions that could be similar on your test. All right, who determines the listing price? In my opinion, it's the market, but let's see. After making adjustments to the comparables, Danny came up with a recommended listing price for the house. Who ultimately determines what listing price for the property will be? My opinion is whatever the buyer is willing to pay. No. Only one party should make the decision. Okay, well, let's try seller. Yes, okay, the seller, not the buyer. All right, well, I could disagree with that, but that's what they have here. I mean, the seller's going to determine what they want to list it for, but, I mean, if they're going too high on the price, the buyer isn't going to buy it, so. All right, oatmeal cookies. Are we still in the same thing here? Okay. Danny and Shoemaker spend the rest of the meeting signing paperwork. They determine a schedule for the cleaners, the photographer, showing options. You could buy somebody to stage the house if you wanted to. Deciding on the date the property will go live. Setting the dates of these are all exciting things, by the way. Setting the dates of the first open house. And he accepted some of Wilma's oatmeal cookies and entertained them with a few hearty stories. Okay, none of that is going to be on your test, by the way. The only thing that's going to be on your test is the CMA. It has nothing to do with oatmeal cookies. All right, that's the end of lesson 3. But those are some of the things you can do when you present it. You can give them some cookies. Actually, it's good to make cookies during the open house, because it makes the house smell really good. They'll teach you that in your class that you take. Some of these things, lighting candles maybe. Not going overboard with sprays and perfumes, but if you bake goods right before the open house, it makes the whole house smell good. You'll see that a lot in these new houses, new house tours that they do. Sometimes they'll have cookies sitting down and they'll bake them fresh. to keep the house smelling really good. All right, food always works, right? Okay, I'll see you on the next lesson. The next lesson is the real estate professional role and the CMA. Lesson 4.